Okay. The Lord is asking me to do a video about this. I frankly, I don't want to. I've talked about this before on my channel, but it's just, you know, it never went anywhere. So, but I mean, I don't really, anyway, and maybe it'll help somebody. I don't know. I just try to be obedient to the Father. I really don't know what else I can do. All right, so where do you want me to? It has been raining for like days. And so I had to go purchase food just now because I'm hungry and I cannot cook. I can't cook in the rain. Like I only have an outdoor stove and I don't have, like, I need to, you know, I need to eat. And, so I had to go buy some food just now. And I usually don't buy prepared food. I usually cook for myself because it's more inexpensive to do it that way. And are these on or am I tripping? Okay, they're not on. I've had a really stressful day. There's a lot of things up in the air right now. I have no idea how it's gonna work out. None. I just know that I've been waiting for like over 10 years for justice on this one situation, just to have like everything and their brother come at me and like hitting me one thing after another. And the Lord has carried me through all of it, so I really don't have anything, I have nothing to complain about as far as the Father. But this thing that I'm going to talk about right now, God, I really don't want to talk about this, Father. I really don't want to. I did a video about this on my channel, and it's titled How I Became Homeless. And like I did it a while ago. I think it was like over a year ago now I did that video. I mean, it was at least a year ago. Might be longer. I honestly don't remember. But so I've already put this information out there. It's nothing new. But anyhow, and like it's really hard when it's raining. It's really hard to be in the car when it's raining because it just is. It's hard to live in the car, period. It just is. It's a lot more work than people think it is. It's a lot of upkeep. It's a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of like everything. And just looking for like anywhere I can park this, not like pouring rain on top of me. Okay, that's decent. All right, whatever. So thank you, Father, for this food. I'm so grateful to have it. I'm grateful to have been able to purchase it. Belle, I can't take you on a waka right now, baby. It's just raining. And I'm just really grateful. Ugh. Okay. See, I bought some juice from, what's it called? Okay, here we go. Got some juice from Trader Joe's the other day, and it's actually really good. So, this is how this goes. I really don't want to do this. Okay, so I really don't want to do this, Father. So this God, and then they put a piece of garlic bread in my, and I can't eat it. Oh, life is cruel. All right. I can't eat it. I didn't know I had a gluten allergy until just recently. Lame. Why is that doing that? Okay, I guess it's just a glare. I don't know. So, which is like my favorite, one of my favorite things to eat is chicken piccata. And like with Alfredo. Ugh. And fettuccine. Yeah, fettuccine. Oh God, and I miss pasta. I miss. Okay, so back in, I think it was 2015. I think it was 2014. I got a place with Santa Barbara Housing Authority at the El Carrillo Apartments. I got an apartment, like against all odds. Like I got this apartment, and it was honestly, it was crap. It was awful. It was like right in the like the main drag of the whole place, and so it was really loud. I was suffering from sleep deprivation the whole time I lived there. It was hard. It was horrible. It was terrible. But on top of that, I was attacked in my apartment. I remember it was a Wednesday night, and that's what I remember about it, because Walking Dead was on, and I was standing at my back door smoking a cigarette, like with the door half open, you know, like holding the cigarette out the door, watching my TV show that I could see like over the like to the side of the wall where my I didn't have a TV, but like my computer screen was. So I'm watching this. Are you getting, what do you do? Oh, you're so goofy. I love you so much. Watching Walking Dead. It used to be like one of my favorite shows, and I like didn't want to miss an episode. It's one of those things. And I usually don't watch TV, but you know, but this show I was like almost religious about watching it. I never missed an episode. Are you getting wet? Oh God, you're so cute. And so I'm watching this episode, and I don't remember anything. I don't remember hearing anyone behind me, nothing like that. But I was hit from behind. I still have the scar on above my right eyebrow here, or in my right eyebrow. It's a big old scar right here. And I was knocked unconscious, and that's all I remember. I woke up briefly in the hospital, and I had the doctor say to me something like, how many of these pills did you take? And I had a bottle of, it was some kind of muscle relaxant the doctor had given me for fibromyalgia, and like more than half the bottle was gone, and I had just gotten that prescription filled. And so I guess he assumed that I was, you know, like messed up on drugs, and which wasn't the case. I had been hit. Like I had this huge gash in my eyebrow, and I was sent home. I don't remember getting into my apartment. I don't remember how I got into my apartment. I don't remember anything. 3 days later, I wake up, and I had no idea like what had happened. It was weird. Like the whole situation was very strange. I find out that, you know, of course I go look in the mirror, and the emergency room, Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital emergency room, had put some kind of, I don't even know what you call it, like some kind of sealant on my eye. They didn't stitch it. It was some kind of like silicone, something they put on the cut, so it would like close, some kind of suture, you know, sealant, silicone, whatever it was. And I saw pictures of it on my other phone. This is all true. And that's what's so disturbing about this story. It's all true. And I'm like, I didn't know what had happened. I had no idea what had happened to me. I was completely clueless. I knew that something like had happened, but I couldn't sit and think about what it was, or, I mean, I had no idea. Oh, excuse me. Oh. I mean, I was completely, I had been unconscious for 3 days in my apartment. I guess Housing Authority had to let me in because there was management on site. A man named Derek Alexander. Is that his last name? Alexander? Yeah, Alexander had let me in my apartment, and like my mom had called during the time that I was unconscious, she had called to like do welfare check on me, which they later used against me. But I mean, I was completely unconscious. So I wake up and I knew something was really wrong. But like I said, I didn't know what, because I didn't have any memory of it. And I called the police because I didn't know what had happened to me. And they said, you know, well, don't you remember? Like, you were passed out and outside of your apartment. And I said, what do you mean remember? I don't remember anything. And they tell me the story. And so and they told me that there had been two men in my, well, they didn't tell me there had been two men in my room. They said that somebody had helped me, that they thought I had slipped and fallen outside of my apartment or something like that. There was blood on my back door, like because my door, you could see where, like, my bathroom door was on the inside of the apartment, and then the back door was open. Like I said, it was open. I was smoking a cigarette out the door. And on my bathroom door, you could see where my head had been smashed into the bathroom door, and I had completely, like, gotten wrecked. And I don't remember that happening, but, you know, you could see the evidence of it. And I didn't know that anybody had been in my apartment. I didn't know where my medication had gone either, but I had no idea. So I told the police that somebody had obviously hit me, that somebody had come into my apartment, and that I wanted a rape kit. So they did that. They took the samples from me, I guess you call them. And I wait for this to, like, you know, come about. I was told that the rape kit was inconclusive. That's all that I was told. And over the next 6 months of living there, like, some weird things had happened, and I was evicted. Goodbye. They just didn't want to deal with me. They didn't want to deal with it. I was horribly traumatized. I still didn't have any answer for what had happened, except that I had obtained the police reports from Santa Barbara Police Department saying that there were two men seen coming in and out of my apartment. And I was like, what? Who was this? Because I didn't have anybody coming over to my apartment. There was one man that I ever invited over to my apartment that I, like, was involved with at all at that time. And I hadn't talked to him for like a week by then. I didn't know who these two people were, because it was redacted in my version of the police report. So when the eviction came around, I was able to, through the California Legal Rural Assistance, I was able to get the printout without the information being redacted. It turned out that there were two men that live there under Santa Barbara Housing Authority that lived there. They were seen coming in and out of my apartment. So apparently I was raped by two men, and nobody, like, said anything to me about it. The other residents said some things to me about it that led me to believe that this was true, but, like, nobody would just tell me what they saw. Nobody would make a statement to the police, nothing. So, and apparently they're the ones that stole my medication too. But, like, I didn't, you know, I really wasn't concerned about the medication at that point. But that's where, you know, half my bottle of medication went, and that's why the doctors at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital thought that I had OD'd on some kind of medication, because, you know, all that medication was gone. But it wasn't in my system either. I mean, I had some in my system, but I wasn't OD'd. So, the California Legal Rural Assistance got this, you know, not redacted information. And I went back and I revisited all of this. Of course, it was extremely traumatizing, the entire experience. Not to mention, at the time, I was also, you know, looking at eviction, like homelessness, you know. And nobody would listen to me. Nobody would take my case. Nobody would help me. Nobody listened to me. the California Legal Rural Assistance, they did listen, but they did the same thing that the Santa Barbara Police Department did. They just blew me off because they thought they got the story from, you know, the true story from what's it called? Because the police department went ahead and asked. They followed up. They did, but all they did was go to good Lord have mercy. Please help me right now, Father. What they did was they went to Housing Authority. They went to the housing manager, which how that man has any idea what kind of medication I was taking or whether I had OD'd or any such thing. Like, how he would know that? He's not a doctor. And the Cottage Hospital, all they did was assume. They had no proof. They had no blood work that that's what was going on. None at all. So, I was just evicted on these erroneous basis that I had invited these two men into my apartment. One of them, I didn't even know who he was. I don't even know his name. I don't even remember what his name is. I know that it was like a Persian name, something like that, like some kind of Persian name. Yes, I'm gonna smoke. It's like, this is really hard to talk about. He's, you know, like, his parents are not from this country is what I'm saying. He's a foreigner. And, I think he's a citizen and all, but he's not, like, you know, his name doesn't reflect that. Anyway, the other man, I did know him. I knew who he was. But I had not invited him into my apartment. There's no effing way. Like, no way at all. 10 years later, over 10 years now, I'm still homeless. That's why I'm homeless. That's why I'm living in a car. That case was never revisited. I never got justice for it. Nothing. And I was just across the board evicted and then slammed with all of these horrible, they said some really awful things about me in my eviction notice. Really terrible things. That I had invited these men into my house, that I had sold them drugs. I've never, what are you talking about? Like, I never sold anybody any drugs. And I have zero history of this, zero at all of any kind. And, nothing with any illegal drugs, nothing with anything at all. And, nothing at all. No selling of drugs, nothing. Not even pot, nothing. In my whole life, nothing. It's not something I was ever involved in. And, but this is how they evicted me. So I was raped in my apartment by two men, one of which I'd never even laid eyes on the guy before. Didn't even know who he was. And, the other guy I was acquainted with him, but he wasn't a friend of mine. And, that was that. 10 years later, I'm still living in my car. Yeah. Still living in my car. And that's the biggest reason why I don't go back to get housing with Santa Barbara Housing Authority. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. I could literally throw them further than I can trust them, and there's some really overweight people there, so that's saying a lot. I was completely blacklisted. I couldn't get housing. They put you on, it's kind of like a bankruptcy thing. That stays on your record for 7 to 10 years. You cannot get housing. Like, you couldn't get housing. You couldn't get help with housing if you wanted to. And so I've been dealing with that. And I genuinely haven't known where to turn. I haven't known who to speak to. None of it. And that's what's been going on in my life. That's why I'm homeless. Right now, I've got some serious issues with the car going on, and I have no idea how to fix it. I'm effectively driving around a car without valid registration or insurance, because I simply can't afford what I need to get done. And because of the fire that I had in my car, which is like, that happened in May of 2023, because of that, I have to get this whole inspection thing done. It's just like, it's an order of operations thing with the DMV that like this has to happen before that can happen, and then this can maybe happen, kind of. It's like, it's really expensive, and I'm like hanging on to hope right now, and all I have is God's word that, you know, he says he won't harm us. He says he won't harm us. He says that, you know, all of our, you know, stolen years, everything that the enemy took from us will be restored. And that's all I have. I don't have anything else. I'm complete. I've been standing on God's word for a while now. I got myself off of, well, I didn't do anything. The Lord got me off of all prescription medication. I take no medication, none, zero. Occasionally I will take an antihistamine if I am in a situation like when I was in North Carolina when I got infected with the mold. I took some antihistamine because, you know, it's like really hard to deal with the stuffy nose and itchy eyes and things like that. But like, I don't take anything. I don't use any drugs. I don't drink alcohol of any kind. I have no drug or alcohol issues whatsoever. I've even taken significant steps to quit smoking, although I'm smoking right now. So, you know, it's really hard. It's really hard because everything I see in my life is pointing to failure, 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 and that I can never win. That's what it looks like. And I am completely 100% relying on the Lord to fix this. You know, I mean, maybe it won't be justice with the Santa Barbara Housing Authority, which I'm sure I have a major case with them, to sue the proverbial pants off of them. But like, I remember when I looked into it, and you know, years ago, I looked into it and I ended up giving up because nobody would even listen to me. Not really. They heard Santa Barbara Housing Authority and they would just shut down. They didn't want to hear it. Nobody wants to take on Housing Authority of Santa Barbara, which is like, I kind of understand that, but at the same time, like, what happened to me was really, really, really wrong. And it was so clearly wrong too. It's not like it's, you know, well, maybe. No. There's no maybes. This is exactly what happened. And by their own paperwork, by the paperwork they provided to me, not the other way around, they provided to me, they proved it all. Like, I think it took them something like, it took them quite a while even to release these CCTV footage to the police department, even though the police department was asking for them for it for a long time. And then, so another thing I found out was that the rape kit that I had insisted on having done, it was never even tested. So when they told me that the rape kit was inconclusive, they didn't even actually have that information. So between Housing Authority of Santa Barbara and the Santa Barbara Police Department and Cottage Hospital, which didn't inform, they didn't call my mother, they didn't call my brother, they didn't call anyone to let them know that I was okay. Because if they had, my mother wouldn't have been calling the police to do welfare checks on me. The police showed up at my house twice, I think, because my mom had called them saying, like, where's my daughter? Like, she's not answering her phone. I don't think she's okay. 2, 3, 4, 5 on this timer. And they actually, the Housing Authority of Santa Barbara used that against me on my eviction notice, like as though I have any control over what my mother did at all. Like, and she was calling them because I wasn't answering my phone, and that wasn't like me. But I was unconscious for 3 days. So how could I answer my phone? How could I do anything? The enormity of the fucked upness that my life has been for like the last, it's been longer than 10 years, but like, I am completely standing on the Lord and his word to, you know, to, and his promises to make it all right, to make it good, to make it, you know, make it make sense, Father. And I have paid for any mistakes that I might have made, trusting people, you know, bad judgment calls, you know, by taking the medication in the first place, by not not trusting the Lord to help me with my anxiety, because the whole reason I was taking the anti-anxiety medication, because I was taking clonazepam for years, and this muscle relaxant was because of the pain that I was experiencing because of fibromyalgia. It was bad judgment on my part to trust these doctors that they had my best interests in mind at all. And so, I shouldn't have been trusting them. But like at the same time, I didn't expect to just be like, completely railroaded. But like, I know what it's like to look at your situation and just be like, you know what? And be angry with God, and be angry, like legitimately angry, and wondering what in the actual, is going on. Father, I don't see how any of this is okay, or how any of this is going to be brought to light, or how any of this is going to be like, that there was any kind of justice for this. And like, all I can say is that, just keep trusting the Lord. I genuinely don't know what else to say. We hang in there, and we hang in there, and we hang in there, and people say terrible things about us. And it's not, it's not so much that I give a shit what people say, but like, when it affects your housing, when it affects your ability to get housing again, when it affects your ability to care for yourself, and you have to live on the streets, I've lived on the streets, I've done the couch surfing thing, and I've lived in a car, all because of this one incident where I get evicted, and my whole life just fell apart. And so like, I get it. It's hard, it's harsh, it's really harsh, especially when you have to, spend the next 10 years paying for, some horrible injustice that happened to you that really wasn't even your fault. It had nothing to do with you. You were just minding your own business, watching your favorite TV show. And like I said the other day in my, my last video, like, all I can say is just hang in there. Like, I genuinely don't know what else to say. My life looks like, it looks like an unmitigated disaster, honestly. And, what can I do but stand on the word of God and trust him, continue trusting him, that he's got a plan, that he is going to work it out, that he's going to make a way. I do my best to keep up in the car and keep things well organized and clean, and all this kind of stuff, and then I get hit with all these other things that, like, I don't know how to even begin to afford them. And still, like, I'm still just trusting the Lord. I think one of the hardest things is when you experience injustice because of something somebody else did, and there's no, you don't have any promise that any of it's going to be okay, except that God tells you that it'll be okay. That's it. And that's a lot. I'm saying, like, oh, that's it. Like, my power steering pump is basically gone. It's definitely going bad, which is why my steering is so bad. It's really hard to steer the car. I need to have a brake inspection in order to have this car registered again. But I don't think my brakes won't pass inspection. I don't think they will. There's always, like, miracles, but, like, I don't think they're gonna pass. So even if I could pay the, like, $400 to get the car inspected, I think I would still need another $500 to get the brakes fixed. It's just like a soup of cluster fuckery going on right now in my life. And still, I'm just trusting the Lord, because I have no idea how any of this is going to work. It looks like a complete disaster. I mean, I've been fighting I've already screamed at the Lord, but I've been fighting just like losing it. Like just, you know, and just feeling lost and feeling so upset and, you know, like, this is not what you told me, Father. This is not what you told me. You know, you said you were going to fix this. You said there would be justice. You said, and I'm finding myself in all of those situations right now. Like, Belle, I can't take you on Waka Waka, baby. It's pouring rain, sweetie. I wish I could. I don't like denying you Waka Wakas. You're such a good girl. Baby, I know, honey. I know how you feel. I do. I'm stuck in the car with you, baby. You're not doing it alone. And that's like the one thing I can say for sure is that I know I'm not doing it alone. I know that God's holy angels and his Holy Spirit are with me. Belle, you made quite a mess back here tearing that toy up. And you know, like, it looks like a complete disaster is what it looks like. It feels like a complete disaster. And it's really hard to deal with. It's hard not to just throw up my hands and just be like, you know what? Fuck this. You know, like, I'm angry and I'm legitimately and justifiably angry because what happened to me shouldn't happen to anyone. Ever. Never. For any reason, you should never be raped. I don't even care if you are OD'd and everything else. Even if you are, you know, like, getting high in your apartment or whatever, like, you still shouldn't be raped. Like, what the fuck? So, my butt is so wet. Sitting on a wet car seat. And, all I can say for sure is just, like, hang in there. It's not easy. I guess nobody ever said it would be easy. But, like, sometimes the hardness of it seems insane is what it does. It seems crazy. It seems like too much. It seems like, you know, you can't do it. And I get it. I get it. You know, over 10 years ago when I landed living on the streets again, I thought, how is this even like 1% of 1% okay at all? And I'm still waiting on the Lord. Bella, please. I'm still waiting on the Lord to do something, you know, to make it okay. And I don't know how, and I don't know when. I don't know where it'll come from. I don't know any of that. But I know that the Lord has it in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's still in control. And as messed up as things might seem, he's still in control. And sometimes that's the only comfort we have. The Lord will restore what has been taken from us. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know where it'll come from. I don't know any of that. But I trust him. So if you're finding it really hard to trust the Lord, you're not alone. You're not alone. Anyway, there's a whole video about this on my YouTube channel about, I think it's titled How I Became Homeless, which is like the whole story, like with a little more detail about what happened to land me living in the car. And anyway, if you want to check that out, it's on my YouTube channel. And like it's got some, I think it's, you know, beware, it's got some like kind of gnarly stuff in it. But I'm waiting on the Lord just like you. You know, to bring me justice for, you know, losing my housing after being raped by two men who had no business hitting me from behind or coming into my apartment or stealing my medication and then staying quiet about it all. Like they never said a word about it. And they still both of them still have housing. I see the one guy who I actually knew who he was. I actually knew him. I knew who he was. Bella, stop. Stop. Your mom's about to lose her mind. Just stop. I still see him around town from time to time. Free as a bird. And he's still got a roof over his a roof over his head. But I've been out here struggling hard for over 10 years. Over 10 years. So, all I know for sure is that God is a promise keeper. A way maker and a promise keeper. I don't know how it'll work out for you. I don't know how it'll work out for me. But I trust the Father. I trust Him. I hope this video finds you blessed. Is there anything else I need to say? I hope this video finds you blessed. Love, blessings, and compassion to everyone. Take care of yourselves and take care of one another. Peace be with you.